Hey there guys, the Sigelei Fuchai V3 pod system. As we all know, these pod systems are basically closed-end systems. When you use the coil, and once the coil is burned out, you just have to throw it in the bin and get yourself a new coil head. Now, most of the times these coil heads are out of stock. And you have to basically import them from China, which is a pain in the ass. So in this video review, I will go ahead and try to rebuild the coil head on this Fuchai V3. Right, so let's begin with a couple of whips, and we will get down to rebuilding the coil head on this thing. Alright, so it works really nice. I like it. At least, it does not leak out e-liquid or do anything funny. Alright, so let's just go ahead and keep that aside, and let me gonna pop the coil head out. And that is sometimes a pain in the ass to take out the coil head. We are gonna leak out a little bit of e-liquid. Alright. I'm just gonna leave that silicone silly thing inside, and that's the coil head. That's the coil inside. Now, I've already rebuilt it once, so I can probably give you a little insight and some precautions while rebuilding this thing. All right. Let's go ahead and take out the contact points at the back. These contact points can be taken out easily. Even with fingers, you don't really need any tools. You just have to pop it out. Look here. It's coming out so easily. And the other one too. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're trying this. By the way, before we get down to rebuilding this thing, it's always good to know your device. This is 1.8 ohm coils, so I would try to rebuild around the same resistance. I would probably try to build around 1.5 ohm. Now, if you have any other pod system, you better know its resistance, because that's where you need to stick around. Don't try to rebuild without knowing the resistance, okay? It might be dangerous for the battery. You might end up damaging the battery, which is not good. Alright, now once these two contact points are removed, do not take out these silicone things. There are two silicone rings over here, one over here, one over here. Don't try to take them out. It's gonna be painful to get them back inside. Alright, so all you have to do is just simply gently take out the coil head, and you will be left with a little messy hands. And we're gonna keep that aside. It's so easy to rebuild this thing. I really love that part. Alright, here it is, 0.32 wire, which is 28 AWG wire, and let's go and give 10 wraps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, as you can see, these are all not so great looking coil. The wraps are not even, so adjust your coil right now. Do not try to take it off the screwdriver yet. Alright, it's just looking good. Alright, now let's go ahead and insert. This part is very, very important. You have to be very careful while make your wire straight enough, and then gently, very gently, go ahead and poke that through those silicone things, while making sure you do not move the silicone thing out of the place. Alright, those silicone things are in the right place. They are not moving anywhere. Alright, we can take it out. Doesn't matter if it's just turning a little bit, you can always adjust it later on. Now let's gonna keep that down, and let's go and find cotton piece, and we'll make the wick. I'll be using just my cotton bacon V2. Alright, thin it out by rolling it a little bit, otherwise it's gonna be a bit tough to push, put it through. Alright, done. And we can chop off the ends. Where's my cutter? Chop one end and then chop the other end. Alright, all done. Okay, we are good to go here. Let me get it, chop it a little bit more. Yeah, I need to chop a little bit more on both ends. Alright, I think we are good to go. Yeah. Alright, we can make those final adjustments later on. Alright, now while pushing it down, put your finger on top. Let it go through a little bit and hold it right there and just bend the coil ends. Once they are bent, now gently push these contact points back in their place. One is inside. I think I'm going to rotate it. Alright. Alright, both the contact points are back in their place and it looks pretty good. Alright, on both ends. In case if you find the coil protruding out a little bit, you can always pull a little bit over here and adjust your coil accordingly. But I think it's just alright. Alright, now we will cut out the ends. And we'll make the final adjustments in a bit. Alright, we've just rebuilt our coil, and you still have to make a little bit, a final tweaks to adjust the coil. I might like to use this one. Alright. I'm going to push these cotton ends firmly inside. Looks all good, and we are done with the rebuilding part. Let's go and put the coil and the coil head back in its place, and we will go and vape on it and see how well it works. So that's all there is to rebuilding this coil head on the Sigelei Fuchai V3. It's so simple, so easy, and that prolongs the life of your coil heads. One thing that I don't really like is taking out the coil head out of this thing. I just stripped one of the sides, I think. Anyway, alright, let's go and put it upside down. And let's see how well it works. I'm just gonna give it a little bit of time so that the wick saturates quickly. Alright, let's give a little bit more time. Beautiful. Wow. And in fact, actually I built it around 1.5 ohm. It's giving a little better flavor now, since it's producing a little more fog. It's producing a little more vapor, and it's definitely giving me a little better flavor now. Alright guys, so that was it, and you can rebuild your Fuchai V3 coil heads. The next I would do my jet, and we'll go and rebuild on the coil heads of my jet and see whether it can be rebuilt or not. Alright, so I hope this video helps you in some way to prolong the life of your coil heads, and you don't really have to run around buying the replacement coil heads. Alright, so if you like this video, please share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for your time, and thanks so much for watching this video review. You have a fantastic day.